Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome you all to the Sports is My Love Language podcast. And I'm really excited to have everybody. As usual, we lead you in to the Thursday night football games. So we want to have everybody welcome to our living room, our barbershop, our virtual studio, where we kick back and we give you our real opinion, man, about sports. There's a lot going on, in the world of sports right now. And the thing is this, man, a lot of times though the usual media, what they'll do is they give you these abridged opinions because they have other interests that they don't want to disrupt. The beauty of coming to us is we're going to say what's on our mind. You know what I mean? Is it always factual on my end? For my crew, they're usually pretty on point. Me, I'm going to give you off the cuff. I'm going to talk emotional. I'm going to give you that portion of the sports talk. But I'm excited because we got a great show, man. We got a lot going on today. There's a lot going on in sports. There's Serena Williams and her what she's doing. They got the NBA is a buzz right now with everything that's going on in the NBA. We have football season about to start. The college football season is taking off. People's fantasy football seasons are starting. Everybody's, this is a great time for sports. So, we're going to dive in right away. First things first, we want to talk about is how amazing is it what Serena Williams is doing right now. It is phenomenal that not just let's put the age aside for tennis. She's 40, right?
She's 40. She's
40 years old. And we all agree that at 40 years old, man, you bump your knee against the edge of your bed, you're probably missing 2 days of work. You know what I mean? So the fact that she's doing this is insane, But let's add on to the fact that she had a baby. I believe she had a C-section. She had a baby. A whole human grew and came out of her. Her body exploded from within, hormones, everything. And they had to come, that whole situation had to come back together for her to be able to perform, period. And now we're seeing her doing her farewell tour. And I am absolutely thrown aback. And the beauty of it is not only she's not going out quietly. She's not going out quietly. She's going out making some noise. Javi, what are your thoughts on Serena, man, and just what she's been able to do?
So first off, I'm rooting for her. Obviously, I think this is her last go around. How special would it be for her to win one last Masters, right? I mean, one last Grand Slam championship. As a matter of fact, I think she might be playing right now in the doubles tournament with her sister right now. So, on top of that, she's also playing another game and she's 40 years old, right? So, we got to take this all into consideration right now because you're absolutely right. And I had this conversation during lunchtime today with my boss. He's like, what's the big deal about Serena? I'm like, she's 40 years old. That's the big deal. Like,
this is a huge deal.
I mean, like, he's like, yeah, but look at Tom Brady. I go, yes, I get it. But Tom Brady relies on 10 other people to make him successful on the offense. And then he has another 11 people on the other side that could basically minimize the damage for him to still win games. Serena Williams has to win the game by herself. She's got to cause the other player to make mistakes. She's got to make the other player lose control, lose balance. She is in control of her own play to win. She's not dependent on her coach or like today, she's kind of dependent on her sister, right? So now it's a team thing today. But when she's by herself, you got to give it, it's a one-on-one, it's a mental battle. And yes, she's been, she's been through battles throughout her whole career, but now she's 40, man. And like you said, she brought out a human into this life, and she's a legend. You saw Tiger Woods in the stands doing like he
game
just
recognized game.
You know what I'm saying?
Game recognizes game, man.
He did the whole I just won this with this putt right now. Like he's giving that type of feel to it, So I think the other day we saw Mike Tyson with Martina Navratilova sitting next to each other watching the game. So right now, this is a huge event because this might be the last time we see Serena Williams on the tennis.
This is the end of of an era, man. Um, one of the one of the most dominant athletes of our lifetime. Absolutely, man. Absolutely one of the most dominant. It's when I look at what she's doing, right? Here's the thing about tennis. Tennis is a notoriously young person's sport. So it's been very easy to try to write the narrative. And I don't know about you guys, but I've noticed that they grab a girl of color and they're trying to force her to be the next Serena Williams. They're trying to force them into that role with the girl Coco, with the girl Osaka. They try to like force them into that role, not realizing that there's a lot that comes with that. It's not just the athletic ability. And Naomi Osaka, she even called it out. She's like, "Hey, my mental health, my mental health was suffering. You know what I mean? I can't walk in those shoes right away. Not yet, at least. So it just gives you another layer of greatness for a woman like Serena Williams. You know, she gets out there and not only is she dominant, but when you put her, I like to call it consecutive moments of excellence. She has what you call consecutive moments where, let's say, a Tom Brady, right? If we want to put him in the conversation as greatest athlete ever, how many minutes in the game is he actually on the field? And how many minutes in between? You know what I mean? Like stopping and going. This woman, sorry, is on this clay or on this grass, and she is consistently in moments forcing her to be great, making her slit. And here's the thing with her, right? So she's one of the few athletes that when you heard them say, "Oh, she was out in the semifinal round or whatever, whatever," it was headline news that she didn't make the final. It's not that you know everybody's human, so you would just assume, all right, they didn't make the final, no big deal, whatever, whatever. It just seemed like news when her name wasn't in the finals. It's like, oh shit, you mean what, Serena? Oh, I thought that was a given, and the truth is, it's not. We just we got to witness. I always say this. We're one of the most amazing sports eras ever, where we've gotten to witness Tom Brady, Kobe Bryant. Some of us were at the age where we got to see Michael Jordan as well. We got to see levels of excellence, like a Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao. Like we got to see levels of excellence that very few people get to see in their lifetime when it comes to sports. And we had a lot of it. And, you include, like I said, a Tom Brady, and then you go over the top and you include somebody like a Serena Williams. She's a once in a lifetime. We don't know if we're going to get another one. We don't know, and we don't know. Obviously, there's always great ones coming, but we don't know how much time is going to pass before we see that level of dominance. That level of dominance, I think she's fantastic. I'm a huge, huge fan. I'm excited to see how she closes the show. I'm really excited to see how she closes the show. She made it to the second round or whatnot. Let's see what she can pull off. If she can close out with another win, right, closing out with another trophy, I mean, that might be one of the most fairy tale endings there could be in all of sports. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing about her, Javi, is she doesn't want to retire. She does not want to retire. She's retiring because she feels like, as a woman, she has to. She has to choose between being a mother and being an athlete. And obviously, we're not women, man. We can't. We'll never really understand what it is to make that choice. But I sympathize with her. I really do, man, because I'm like, I can't imagine having a dream and not being able to chase that dream or follow that dream because I have something just as beautiful, just as amazing that I want to accomplish, and I have to choose. Men, we don't have that. We don't have to choose. Through biology, we're in a situation where we can, nobody's getting interrupted, even though guys will do like a paternity leave type thing, but nobody's getting interrupted in the middle of a streak, in the middle of a win streak, in the middle of whatever, because they have to stop for 9 months because they're pregnant. You know what I mean? So it just adds to the whole situation and makes it all that much more beautiful to me, man. That she's able to do that stuff, and then it's a testament to her father and the hard work that he put in. But I have a question for you.
I got to give props to Venus as well because I'm sure they're the ones practicing, and who better else to practice against another superstar that came through the tennis ranks as well. Not the
Iron
same
sharpens
player,
iron.
you know what I'm saying? Not the same player anymore, but Venus and Serena, when they go at each other, they're going at each other hard enough to push each other to that next level. So we got to give props to Venus as well, because we give the props to the father, but you got to give I think you got to give more props to the sister, especially the older sister, because remember, the older sister is like, damn, my younger sister is better than me.
Yeah.
And she has to take that in stride, that her younger sister is like Venus in her home right is a legend, but she's not legendary like Serena is. So you got to give it up to Venus. And sorry that I cut you off, but what was going to be the question, my man?
No, I was going to go into let's talk about some age defying feats. What are some age defying, like we always talk about Serena, we'll talk about Tom Brady being whatever. What are some of the other?
I think George Foreman.
George Foreman, yeah.
When he beat Michael Moore for the belt, that was like you didn't really expect a guy at his age to come back and be a champion again, right? You kind of just ride them off already, right? You feel like that's it, retirement, and he's not going to get back to that level. That's one guy that comes into my I'm trying to think right now. Another one that comes in from UFC, I forget his Randy Couture.
Randy Couture, yeah.
He's another one, because and if you listen to what I'm bringing up,
Bernard Hopkins, absolutely.
I'm bringing guys that's one-on-one, right? It's you against them. I'm not bringing in a team player right now because they're still dependent on other players. Yeah,
I always find it fascinating when I see you ever do this game. Sometimes I play this game. You ever compare, like, there's greats out there, right? And this is, I know this is gonna ruffle feathers, man. I know, because you're not a fan of this person. But when you grab two people in the same sport, and you separate them by age, right? And you see what level one was at. For instance, I'll give you an example. We forget what Muhammad Ali looked like at 37, 38 years old. He looked like shit. I love the guy. I'm a huge fan. Don't get me wrong, and I know it's blasphemy, but he looked like shit. He was a fraction of the man that he was earlier in his career, right? You get a guy like Mike Tyson at 37, 38 years old. He was washed. He was done. He wanted no parts of boxing, right? Now, on the other hand, you got a guy like Floyd Mayweather. You got guys like Manny Pacquiao. How at that same age look phenomenal. Now, I have my theories. I'm not going to go there because obviously people are taking care of their body better. There's a lot of things, but that shit amazes me how. And I always give that kind of credit, like for an athlete to look as good, even in tennis. Look at Serena Williams at 40 years old, and then you compare it to what a 40-year-old looked like just a couple of years ago. Just a couple of years ago, what do you call it? 40. Have you ever done this? How about this? Did you see Kareem Abdul-Jabbar when he was turning 40? What they were treating him like when he was in the NBA?
Yeah,
they were treating this guy like he was beyond ancient, like that he was washed, like completely done. And you're like, dude, he was not that old, But guys aged like a mother. You know what I'm saying? The technology has changed, I guess.
He went
but
from Kareem went from being 20, 25 points a game to that last year. I think he was averaging like 10 to. So he wasn't the same Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, obviously. So that's why when we talk about like Serena Williams and we talk about George Foreman, Randy Couture, winning. And I'm not saying that Serena has done it yet, but I'm talking about, she just beat the number 2 ranked player the other day, which I think was yesterday or the day before. I don't remember. But, if she gets to win this Grand Slam, at the age of 40, it's a big feat. Not
Yep.
too many. Not too many singles players go into their 40s winning titles, and I don't know if there has been, to tell you the truth. I can't think one off the top of my head right now. I know Martina Navratilova got into her mid 30s
Right.
and was still competing, but I don't know if she ever won a Grand Slam title singles. Obviously doubles is a different animal. But when you think about the George Foremans that did it at that age, you do it with Randy Couture. Now you're looking at players that are playing into their 40s right now. Obviously, medicine has changed significantly. That these guys, are not actually going at a total downspin, of their career. They're still maintaining a high level that there are basically high, like top one, two, three, and they're there. We could even talk about, I know he wasn't in his 40s, but Anderson Silva was pretty old too when he was winning his.
And he's still boxing. He's still boxing out there.
Yeah, I mean, but he's not top. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
he's not high
saying?
level.
He's not high level anymore. So that's why you got to give it to these athletes that do it into their 40s. Because back in like 80s, there wasn't a 40-year-old that you were looking at that was basically busting everybody's butt.
The way these people are taking care of their body, the technology that they're putting into their body.
Go ahead, say it, Mike. I know you want to say it.
I don't want to. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Let's just call it the technology that they're putting into their body is next level. It's why. And okay, so I'm gonna say it, bro. Like, so with me, when I talk PEDs nowadays for athletes, right? First of all, I'm not even against it. I'm not riding that high horse where I'm against it. The only one I'm against it in is in combat sports, where I feel like, having that extra oomph in your punch or whatever could really hurt somebody. That's where it kind of like throws me off or whatever. But my thing is this: I feel like now the athletes of today, what they're doing is rejuvenation treatments.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? They're doing more stuff like what J-Lo is doing than they're doing, what Lala Alzado used to do or Arnold Schwarzenegger would do. They're not trying to look bigger, faster, stronger. They're trying to look younger, preserve their muscles, preserve injury, and do stuff like that. So I believe, and again, this is my word is not the gospel. You know what I'm saying? My word is not the gospel. You know what I'm saying? Obviously. But I will say this. I believe that's where the biggest change has been. Not only are these people investing more money in nutrition and all that, yeah, I give them all that props, but I also believe that the technology that they're putting into their system is a lot greater and a lot better. Because, spirit for spirit, emotion for emotion, I think, you can compare them to anybody. Muhammad Ali can fight in any era. You know what I'm saying? But now we're talking about, the physical standpoint about it and how they were affected that way. And I say, I'm going to put it out there. There's some chemicals involved in the treatment of these people, these athletes today. Now, Jen put up, I'm 40, right? I really wish you would have been in this conversation, Jen, because I would love to hear a woman's perspective on the fact that this woman had a whole human being come out of her. She had a baby, man. That's like above her being 40, above all that part of it. She had a baby and came back. And I think she was playing while pregnant and nationally ranked world ranked while pregnant. So that right there, like it just, so, okay. So here's the last thing I'm gonna say about it. When we talk about greatest athletes, right? I know a lot of people's argument is, oh, but she's a woman. If she played men, she would lose to the 116th ranked man. Cool. Okay, let's have that 116th man have a baby. As a matter of fact, let's have the first 50 men, right, have babies, and then come play her. And I guarantee you, none of us, not near one of us, would be able to hang with her. All right? She had a baby. That right there tells me, in my opinion, and I know this is going to go, whatever, she is the greatest athlete of our generation. She had a baby. That's it. That's all I can say. And then is still world ranked. Is still in the conversation of being the GOAT after having the baby. That right there, that end all, be all, period, point blank. I'm done. That's where I jump off the ship. or whatever. But now what do you call it? We have a lot of buzzing going on in the NBA. A lot of buzzing going on in the NBA. A lot of buzz. Hav, I know you got a lot to say. Man, listen, let's start. We're gonna just start. We're just gonna start. Oh, wait, no, you know what? Wait. We got a special guest. We got a special guest, especially because I just made the point about Serena. So welcome, Jen Vega, First Lady of the Sports is My Love Language podcast. Jen, what's going on, man?
What up, Jen?
Hi, guys. Actually, I have the little one with me. We just got
Man,
out of
you know
curriculum
better
night.
than everybody. You know better than anybody. You walked in her shoes. You know what the recovery is like. You know what the time after that is like.
Mm-hmm.
Just even if you have 5 minutes or 2 minutes, just give us a glimpse into her achievement so that these Neanderthals out there can understand what what this woman actually accomplished after she had a baby. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's mind blowing.
What she has done is absolutely amazing because she was playing temporarily while she was pregnant at first.
Yep.
When a woman is pregnant, let me just explain for all the men out.
Let us know.
She got cut off.
Oh, did we freeze? Did we freeze?
I think she froze.
You might have frozen a little bit.
Oh,
Maybe
Go ahead, Jen.
go ahead, Jen. Go ahead,
okay. When you are pregnant, your internal organs are compressed up and out. Okay. Your muscles are stretched beyond belief to the point where your abdominal muscles can actually tear right down the center of your six pack. Your hips, your
we're trying to get you back. Yeah, give us what you can, Jen. Give us what you can.
Okay, your hips permanently widen and your ribs get displaced to the point where I still have one of my top ribs out of joint.
Oh.
Like it's no joke. You do damage to your body when you're pregnant. So the fact that she still plays at the level that she does is mind blowing from a woman's point of view.
Jen, I got up in the middle of the night to go get some water.
Mm-hmm.
And I hit my left toe. I was out of commission. I was out for the count. I might have not done the podcast that day and told you guys that I had something serious going on. And it was just a really bad toe injury. Let's put it like that. So for you to tell me about this, I can't even begin to fathom. I can't even begin to understand just that level. And I really hope that, in my exaggeration, that the audience is getting like what I feel about it, because I'm just completely blown away by it.
And I mean, there's still things that I'm sure she goes through even years after pregnancy.
How about emotionally? I've written about it. The emotional component after, everything from the baby blues to postpartum. We don't know what she went through. We don't even know that part of it. The psychological part of what she went through, emotional hormones. So we could talk about this for days. Jen, I really want to thank you for taking the time out. I know you're busy. I know you have some stuff going on. I really, really appreciate you chiming in with us.
You're welcome, sir.
No problem. Take it easy. Thank you.
Good night,
That's
guys.
the First Lady of the Sports is My
you.
Love Language podcast. We'll see you in a little bit, Jen.
See you later.
Bye-bye. All right, so we're moving on. We're going to go on to the NBA buzz, man. Hob, let us know, bro. Let us know what is pop. Okay, let's start here. We're going to start. We're coming in hot. What are your thoughts?
By the way, let me just bring it back. The oldest player to win a Grand Slam was 37 years old and 2 months and 1 day old. And that was back in 1972 that this guy, Ken Roswell, became the oldest ever Grand Slam winner in the Australian Open. So if Serena does this, she surpasses this guy by basically 3 years, with a baby coming out of her. So,
with a baby coming out.
With a baby. But let's go back to the NBA. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm gonna put it to you. I'm gonna put it right at your feet. Let's start right. Oh, let's go. We're coming in hot. Let's go right here. The New York Knicks.
Bro.
Is it the move that they didn't make? Is it the move that they should have made? What is sitting in your spirit about today's news? Let's apply it strictly to the New York Knicks for right now. Then we could address how you feel about what the Cavs did, what if what Denver got from it or whatnot, or Utah, what all these teams got from everything. But let's start with what are your feelings on the New York Knicks?
All right. Well, I'm a Knicks fan, obviously, so that I'm disappointed, and I know there's a lot of fans from the Knicks that are disappointed, and I know there are a lot of fans that said, "No, this is a good thing that we didn't trade." So I'm just gonna go and sit back and just say, "All right, I get both sides, but now I'm gonna go into the whole thinking process of Leon Rose, which is the guy right now that I think should be on the hot seat. Why?
Okay.
Because Donovan Mitchell has been rumored for trades throughout the whole season. And you always heard the Knicks being in the rumors. So what does Leon Rose do on draft night? All he does is acquire assets, acquire draft picks. Like, he doesn't really make a pick. So he's trying to get all these assets to maneuver something to eventually get a top 10 to a top 15 player. I think Donovan Mitchell's a top 15 player right now. All right. The 1 year, they had the number 1 seed with the Utah Jazz. Tell me a player right now on the Knicks that can take you to the number 1 seed in any conference right now. You can't. And that's why I'm kind of like looking at Leon Rose. I'm like, you did all of this, and then for the last month, I think a little bit over a month, you were in contact with the Utah Jazz to make this trade. I don't know where the snag hit. I don't know where he decided that this is it, and I'm not going to give you anything more. But from what I understand and from I read a lot, it was going to take the picks more than anything, right? And maybe a combination of players. Obviously, Fournier needed to be one to kind of match contracts, and then add in a couple of young stars. Well, not even stars, young kids that might have this potential to be very good basketball players in Quentin Grimes and maybe Obi Toppin, right?
Right.
So I'm there looking at all of this, and I'm there like, you make that trade easily. You give that up easily. And as a matter of fact, if they need to give up another draft pick, I go, now let's just say you do make this trade, right? So you give up Obi Toppin, you give up Quentin Grimes, and you give up Fournier, and you give up 4 unprotected first picks, right? Let's say you make that trade, right? All right, you gave up a lot of assets, but now you get Donovan Mitchell. So now you got Donovan Mitchell, you got RJ Barrett, and you got Brunson, and you got Julius Randle, all making over 100 million.
Yeah, 114, 112, yeah.
What that's going to do is that you're going to eventually have to trade somebody, and it's not going to be Donovan Mitchell, right? Randle. There you go. So now it's either Randle, even if you have to trade Brunson now, even if you trade Barrett.
Well, it's not going to be Brunson or Barrett because they just got them. I think the other.
Well, not right now. I'm saying it could be
down the road.
A year down. Yeah. It could be, and now this is where I'm saying now as a management, you try to get some of those picks back in return while you trade one of these guys, because eventually you're going to have to trade one of these guys. So I just don't understand what the mindset of Leon Rose was when the whole time you did this to get in a position to go get a Donovan Mitchell, and you balked at a certain point. I don't know if Danny Ainge, being the old Celtic that he was just trying to kill the Knicks as much as possible, and he kept on asking for more. That could be a possibility. But at the same time, what was that more? Are we talking about draft picks? Because if we're talking about draft picks, you don't know what those draft picks are going to be down the line. They could be bust. But you already know what Donovan Mitchell is. Donovan Mitchell is an all-star. Donovan Mitchell scores 25 points per game. All right? So he's a proven commodity, and he's a top 15 player. So to me, I think the Knicks really look stupid, in my opinion. And not the Knicks. I think Leon Rose really looks stupid at this point, because you put all your eggs in the basket to get this guy, and all of a sudden, you kind of played yourself because you didn't want to give up maybe the extra pick or maybe the extra player. Because
how do you feel about the RJ Barrett extension?
Like, I didn't have I think that played into the whole thing as to why Danny Ainge probably said, all right, now I don't want RJ Barrett, because honestly, I would have had him on a contract final year without an extension. Now I could finagle him into maybe another draft pick with another team.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But now that you gave him this extension, now his stock for trading assets right now might not be as good because he's not in his final year of his contract. Now he's got an extension after that. So now you got to wait another 4 years. You know how they say sometimes expiring contracts are good at the moment. You know what I'm saying? All right, give me a draft pick and I'll give you this expiring contract so you can relieve your cap.
Right.
That's the way Danny Ainge probably took it to that. And once they gave him that extension, Danny Ainge said, I don't want RJ Barrett now. You know what I'm saying?
You believe,
because it was a poison pill contract on top of that as well.
Do you believe he could be a cornerstone of an organization?
No. That's what
you don't see it, huh?
I don't see it. I mean, I know we talked about this on pre-production. You know what I'm saying? Let's just talk about this right now. Donovan Mitchell or RJ Barrett, who are you taking right now?
Donovan Mitchell.
Okay. They say Donovan Mitchell doesn't play great defense. Understood. Mm-hmm. But RJ Barrett sometimes doesn't play great offense. The one thing I do know is that Donovan Mitchell plays great offense.
Right.
You know, so, you got to give and take. Do you want a guy that's going to give you a consistent 25, or you want that guy that's going to give you 15 one game, 11 the next game?
And we talked about it the other day, man.
Yeah, like he disappears. He disappears throughout games, and that inconsistency.
Some of the quietest 22, 24 points I've ever seen. He gave. You know what he reminded. Okay, let me ask you this, right? Because this is what I was thinking about. Do you think this is a case, and maybe not, because there's no really relation between the current administration and what was back then, but do you think there is somebody was saying, hey, let's not have a repeat where we sold the farm for, like, let's say a Melo and a what do you call it? And what's his name? Stoudemire.
Well, you know what I mean? They didn't sell the farm for Stoudemire. Stoudemire came in as a free agent.
Well, I mean,
right? But what we did with Melo is, yes, we pretty much gave up the farm. We gave up starting players at the moment too. So it was like we gave up starting players and we gave a couple of bench players, and on top of that, picks. So does some of that go into this? Probably. But again, if you think about it, who were we giving up that was a starter? Fournier? I mean, Fournier was about to get replaced by Mitchell. So that's okay. Barrett? Okay. So we lose 2 starters, right? But we still have 3. We still have the other 3 starters, which would have been Brunson, Randall, and Mitchell Robinson. And now you add Donovan Mitchell. So you're going to tell me those 4 starters are not better than the starters you just had that you were about to trade away? They absolutely are. They were, and that's why I think Leon Rose just basically, I think he messed this one up. I think he messed this one up. Again, Mike, he didn't draft anybody. He was picking up draft assets to make a deal eventually. This was the deal. He failed it. All right. This was supposed to be your marquee signing, not Brunson. Brunson's an okay piece, but he's not making you 10 wins better, because Donovan Mitchell makes you 10 wins better. Yeah, as you can ask the Utah Jazz. You know what I'm saying? In the Western Conference, when the Western Conference was busted.
It was good. Yeah.
Right now, there's a little bit of a shift. It's not a total shift. I think that the conferences are a lot more balanced right now. But remember, Donovan Mitchell was back in the days when the Western Conference was no doubt the conference.
I would love to have seen, anytime we get a little bit of star power in New York, man, that would have been beautiful, man.
He's from New York too, bro. That was the other part. It's like
a little injection of life.
He's a Met fan. He's from the area, bro. He's from New York. And I'm telling you, I think Leon Rose shit the bed on this. He did, in my opinion. I know Knicks fans will go right back to what you said about the Melo trade. And they'll be like, no, I don't want the same situation. It's not the same situation, because Melo was around 28, 29. Donovan Mitchell is 25, about to turn 26. So he's going into his prime still.
Yeah, he's still a baby.
So like, I'm just, again, I go back. I think Leon Rose shit the bed. I think he was trying to call Danny Ainge's bluff, and Danny Ainge tends to win every single
Yo, he is a monster.
He
What he
tends
did
to
with
win
the
them all.
Timberwolves and what he's done with the Knicks and the Cavaliers and the way he's finagled everybody and finessed everybody,
Yeah,
that guy
bro.
is executive of the year already.
Already, bro.
What do you think of how Cleveland? Who
he
do you think
feeds
the
the
winners
Nets.
were? Who do you think the winners were? I think Cleveland came out winning, man.
Well, Cleveland came out a better team right now. Who did they give up, really? They
And
gave up Colin Sexton and that Laurie Morrican. So right now they picked up a top 15 player to team him up with Derek Garland, who's basically might be eventually a top 15 player potential, because you can't say that about RJ Barrett. Can you say that about Julius Randle right now? No, because he's a mental midget.
yeah,
Bro,
I think he fell out.
Donovan Mitchell was the prize piece for Leon Rose. He would have solidified his role in New York to making them not a championship contender, but a winning team, a winning culture that hasn't been in New York for the Knicks for
think about what's
years.
necessary to win in the East, you only need one or two pieces, man. You need two pieces and a bunch of role players. You're gonna tell me Donovan Mitchell paired with a role player like Brunson, and let's say we bring in one solid big. I don't know, man. I think they could have made some noise, but
it is frustrating because I do think, people say he's small, he gets hurt, and I'm just there like, he doesn't really get hurt. You know what I'm saying?
He balls out, man.
He balls out, bro. He plays with passion. Does he play defense? No, he doesn't play great defense. But that's why. But he's saving his energy to give us points. You know what I'm saying?
I saw a meme, right? And then the meme, they would I don't know if they would try to be funny, but they would try to sell the New York Knicks new big three, and it was R.J. Barrett, Randall, and what do you call? I was like, yo, you want to talk about somebody who want to throw up? I was like, if they got the balls to call that a big three, yo, they need to knock the hell off right now.
But that's the whole thing. These are $100 million guys, right?
That's what they mean by the big three. The big salary.
All right. So right now, are you like shaking? Are you like confident right now that they're a playoff team? Just looking at, and that's the whole thing. Donovan Mitchell makes you a playoff team at least. Like, that's why you do it, because that's the whole prize, to get into the playoffs, right? At least when you get into the playoffs, there's always a chance. Now, do I think of them as championship contenders? No. But let's just say they make a little bit of noise. They win 50 games. You know what that does? That opens the eyes of other potential star agents.
They're going to want to come play in New York.
That's the culture that you got to start building, man. That's why Pat Riley does it. He's a master. He brings it, and then he starts with the winning culture. He starts bringing other players. Look at, you know what? He's gotten to the finals with players that you'd be like, damn, you wouldn't expect it. But when they went to the bubble, they made it to the championship. But every single year, they're in the playoffs. You want a chance, man, and that's all you're looking for.
That's all New York asks for, is a chance.
That's all, man. The Knicks fans just want to be a winning organization. We're not even asking for a championship.
I saw another meme that says the Cavaliers now have all-stars at every position, but small forward.
That's not true, though.
No, it's not. Oh, okay. So
I saw that too. But I think Carl Levert was one of them, and he's not an all-star. I don't think he's ever been an all-star. I'm trying to think of the other guy, Jared Allen. I don't think has ever been an all-star. I think he's been like the sixth man of the year.
Holy shit.
But Derek Garland, yes, is a potential. I don't know if he was an all-star last year. I think he was. So they have two all-stars with two really good players, but they're not all-stars. So let's bring it down a little bit.
They're one piece away. As a matter of fact, they might have enough role players. They're gonna make the playoffs.
They're better than they were last year, and they made the playoffs last year. That's what I'm trying to say. Like they did. What did they give up? They gave up 3 unprotected first rounds. Again, they said to themselves, all right, I'll give these 3 up because I don't know what I'm going to get. But I know if I get Donovan Mitchell, I already know what he is. He's an all-star. That's all. You're trading for an all-star. You give up, yes, some role players, but you didn't give up the key role players. You still got Derek Garland there. You got the other all-star. You gave up Colin Sexton that was hurt, So you don't know if he's going to come back. So you gave up on him. And that's what you're supposed to do. That's why I say Leon Rose, I think, overvalued maybe some of his players, you know, and overvalued maybe the picks that he might think that he could grab down the line. Because
who's the player on the Knicks that I'm going to come out, I'm going to say my player first, but there's one player on the Knicks, right, that baffles me, and I don't understand how they value him so high, because it's obvious the rest of the league does not. Julius Randle.
Well, that's the whole thing, right? The whole the 2 seasons ago where he balled out is what people are holding on to right now.
And that was a small window of time, man. That was a small window of time. Other than that, I don't like his IQ.
Let's just that's why I call him a mental midget. When he got destroyed against the Hawks, let's call it what it is. He looked dumb. We lost him. That's where we totally lost Julius Randle, because ever since that series, the following year, never consistent.
Just never showed up. Yeah.
Just he could have a game here, but bro, we were relying on Fournier at times. If you're relying on Fournier, that's when like, all right, we don't have that main dude to do it for us. When we thought we had Julius Randle, but once that Atlanta Hawks took him out, that was it. The playbook was there. Hey, whatever the Hawks did, just continue to do that to him, and he's gonna mess himself up.
He's gonna break. Right. He's not gonna make the pass or take the shot that's necessary to win him the game. And he's supposed to be the focal point. They try to, like, who's a player? They try to put like this aura on him, like I'm trying to think of back in the day, maybe like a Larry Johnson, or like where when he came, even though Larry was kind of washed by the time he got to the Knicks, but there's like they try to put this aura on him where he's an elite player, or like he's still, you know what I mean? He's just not, bro.
I was driving home today, and I was like, I went through the whole, like, what happened with the trade, and then I went down the line and I looked at the Knicks players, and I'm like, we don't have, like, let's grade them, like, right, the 1A star, right? The 1A stars are the LeBrons, the Giannis, the Steph Currys. You could even
we don't even have a 1B, bro.
Like, that's what I'm saying. I go, what we have is a guy that's really a 2B that does that could be that 2A. But that's top. That's it. That, like,
Barrett has all the physical attributes and the style of game to be an elite player in the league. He just hasn't shown it yet.
But the thing is, he doesn't know. Like, this is what I'm saying. I'd rather have a Donovan Mitchell, because one-on-one, he'll take you.
He's a killer. He's a killer, yeah.
RJ Barrett can't break you down like that. RJ Barrett needs to use his size. He's not going to, he can't break you off the handle. Donovan Mitchell could break you off the handle. Donovan Mitchell is a better passer than RJ Barrett. So that's what I'm saying. I'm just there like, Leon Rose shit the bed. Congratulations to the Cavs, because I think congratulations to the Utah Jazz, because Danny Ainge just said, "Fuck you, Knicks."
That executive of the year,
that's what he did.
Put another executive of the year right on his, with the Gobert trade, and now this, put the executive of the year right on his trophy.
They're not going to get a lot of wins out in Utah, but yeah, you could say he even without the record, you could already put him as executive of the year, because he's got the rebuild already in sight.
Yeah, he's got assets. He's got trade bait. He's got fucking money. They got it all over there right now. And they need all that, though. They need all that because of such an undesirable place it is to play.
What's crazy is, like, he gets Pat Beverly, and look what he does. He trades him and gets more assets. And this is the thing that I'm saying. Like, you don't give that extension to RJ Barrett and you include him in the deal. He was going to use RJ Barrett as bait to go get more free bait. Because that's what Danny Ainge does. Danny Ainge wasn't looking for RJ Barrett. Just the same way that at the time when he fleeced over the Nets, when he gave up Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and got all those picks, look what the Boston Celtics did. They got Jason Tatum. They got what's his name, Marcus Smart. They got the other guy, Jaylen Brown. They picked and then they got. He didn't play that great because he got hurt automatically. But they went to try to got Gordon Hayward, Al Horford. They did. Danny Ainge is a smart GM.
Sharp. I like him a lot. Yeah, he's sharp, man. He's sharp. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna move on to the last segment of our show today. College picks, man. So what I'm going to start doing weekly is if anybody knows me knows I'm a big fan of the college football game, college and boxing. Those are my favorite two sports, but college football and boxing. So I follow it closely, and I've kind of developed a pattern. And I study these teams throughout the year. You know, whether it's spring football, whether it's the recruiting classes, I'm all in on all of it. You know, and I'm inviting everybody that every week on our show, at the end of the show, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 5 teams. I'm going to give you who I think is going to win. I'm going to give you why I think they're going to win, and if it's going to be close or whatnot. It's. I don't want to say it's with the spread because I don't want to spread on this platform like we're gambling. But let's just put it like this: I'm going to give you a score within range, and I think all these games are going to fall within range of this score. All right. So let's start off. My first game of the week is Oregon versus Georgia. All right. This won't be close. Ladies and gentlemen, this will not be close. Oregon is in a rebuild. They have some offensive firepower, you know, that was left behind by Cristobal and all that stuff. And they do have, you know, they still have some recruiting talent, but this is not close. This is not even close. Georgia's going to go in there. They're going to blow the doors off of them. I'm saying 35-17. I'm actually a little bit, I'm actually pretty consistent with what the spread is. I think the spread is like 17. Maybe, you know what I'll start doing too is maybe giving you over-unders in the future. But for right now, let's just give you flat scores. 35-17, I got Georgia. Cincinnati at Arkansas. Be careful with this game if you're going to bet this game. This is a quietly hard game. Cincinnati has a lot to prove. They graduated some NFL players. They ranked really high. Let's see what they can do this year. They even lost some coaches. So let's see if they could actually keep it together. They still should be the elite of their division, right? But we'll see. Arkansas comes in with a power-pack running game. This is the SEC. These are SEC athletes. They're monsters. This is going to be a very, very good game. Probably the most competitive game. They're both very good teams. I'm going to go. They're both going to end up in the top 25 at the end of the year. Mark my words. They will both be in the top 25. I'm going to go Cincinnati with something to prove. 24-21. 24-21 by 3. 3 under 3. I would say under 3. 24-21 for Cincinnati. Notre Dame versus Ohio State. Don't let the nostalgia and the gold helmets and all that sway you. They're going to get the dog shit beat out of them. They're going to get dog walked. All right? Let me tell you something. Notre Dame is going to be good. They are developing a culture up there. They're going to be good. The guy can recruit his ass off, the new coach. But they are in a rebuild. They lost some transfers, and they are in what I would call a real cultural rebuild, and that never bodes well. Now, here's the other thing. Ryan Day has to something to prove. This is his first class of recruits. He's not playing with Urban Meyer's toys anymore. He's playing with his own set of toys. So he has a lot to prove. He has a lot to prove in his what I would call his first real year of coaching his style, his players. And I believe that he comes in and he is everything. Talent-wise, they're head and shoulders above. I know Notre Dame is ranked like 5. Ohio State comes in at 2 on a lot of polls. But let me tell you something. It's not close. It's not close in talent. I'm going Notre Dame. I'm going Ohio State, 35. I'm going Notre Dame doesn't even get 20 points on them. I'm going 17, 35-17, Ohio State. West Virginia versus Pitt.
They're playing right now.
Yep. Oh man. Well, let me get my score in early. I got Pitt winning 27-14. I don't know what the score is right now. What's the score?
Yeah, I think it's 3-0 right now.
All right. I think I got Pitt 27-14 on that game. So we'll see how that goes. A big sleeper game. Utah versus Florida. Utah has really good defense, and that's its strength. I say they improve on last year and they give a big ACC win to start the year. It'll probably be the only loss of the ACC. The SEC gets in the opening weekend from schools non-conference. I go 27-21, the Utes, and I could be way wrong on that one, man. Because Florida's not a bad team, but I think Utah has enough defense to hold off Florida 27-21. And those are my 5 picks of the week. El Chef is coming back next week to give you some more of his fantasy football. He was under the weather, so he won't be here now. But Hob, you wanted to close out with anything? Any final thoughts on anything going on?
Yeah,
Via sports.
yeah. Let me talk about my Yankees a little bit right now.
Hey,
All right, so they went 10-18 in August. We're in September. Aaron Judge has hit 51 home runs, and it feels like we're talking more about his home runs and the Yankees not really playing well. I'd rather talk about the Yankees not playing well a little bit more because it's kind of depressing that we were out 15 games and now we're only up 7 games in the division. All right. That's a big loss of games. 7 games is not that hard to make up if you keep on, playing this way. You know, thank God we had a big lead. Do I want Aaron Judge to break the Roger Maris record, the team record? Of course I do. But, is he the MVP of the season? Of course he is. But, to me, that doesn't mean shit. I'm a Yankee fan. You know what I'm saying? I need to see September be a lot better than what I saw the last month. All right. We need the Yankees.
where do you think? What are some of the weak spots you've seen in the lineup? I know Stanton is doing shit since he came back, but
Aaron Hicks should not be playing anymore. I said this at the beginning of the year when we made that trade for Josh Donaldson. I thought that was a mistake. I understand that we were trying to get rid of Gary Sanchez, but getting rid of Gio Urshela to me was
a bad move.
Was a bad move because he's a better fielder.
Yeah.
And if you actually take a look at their statistics for this year against each other, Gio Urshela is kind of doing the same thing and hitting for better average. So to me, I'm just there like, and the thing is that Gio Urshela at least puts the ball in play a bit more than Josh Donaldson. Josh Donaldson just strikes a lot more. So I think it's actually showing out right now. Josh Donaldson is just not the same player he used to be. There's times that, he looks good, but he's just not. And I will say that I've been very disappointed in Gleyber Torres' play. This guy was supposed to be one of our main players, one of our main hitters, and he's not. He hasn't been doing what we saw him do like 3 years ago. He hasn't been that same type of player. Yeah. And, we got these kids. I think his name is Jason Dominguez, or they call him Jason Dominguez, whatever, how do you pronounce his name. But he's in the minors right now looking like, he might be the next thing that needs to come up, and I'm already here. It's September. So usually these are the call-ups, right? I don't know what type of a call-up it's going to be. If it's just, one of those things that he just gets to see the big leagues, but, hopefully he gets a couple at bats. And if he starts basically cranking that ball, I wouldn't be surprised one of these guys are just not hitting, like an Aaron Hicks, lose their spot. Again, we still got to wait for Bader to recover from injury because he's the guy that we traded for Jordan Montgomery, which I think was another stupid trade because I always feel like there should always be a lefty in your pitching staff. But we got to wait for what Bader does, and hopefully he could turn things around for us because Aaron Hicks has been absolutely atrocious. If it wasn't for the guy that we traded before, the guy that went to the Dodgers, what was his name again? I forget his name. Or Joey Gallo.
The Gallo.
Yeah, Aaron Hicks was probably the guy that needed to go because that guy's hitting like 215.
I don't know how he's. Yeah, I don't even know how.
I don't know how he's still playing. To tell you that, I'm still wondering what's going through Boone's head right now. And that's another guy that I've been saying I don't trust Boone's judgment. I never had, and I'm been over Cashman. I feel like there has to be like some changes always up in management. I understand Cashman's been there and it seems like he knows what he's doing and he probably knows a lot more than I do. But, for all the money that's been spent within the last 20 years, you've only come up with one championship.
Yeah, that's a lot of cash, man.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a lot of cash.
Yeah,
all right, I want to put something to rest.
Go for it.
I want to put something to rest, man. And this is my little final. To all my Met fans, I'm rooting for you guys. I'm rooting for the Mets, bro. I think baseball is so much more fun when the Mets are good. I love the electricity in Citi Field. But, let's cut the shit, okay? Let's cut the shit. Your little Diaz reliever intro with the trumpets will never beat Enter the Sandman all right, will never be my man Mariano Rivera's Enter the Sandman. The little trumpet is cute. It's sweet. I like it. It's fun. It gets the stadium rocking, but it will never be Enter the Sandman like my man when Mariano Rivera would come in the game. It just doesn't do it. Close, but it doesn't do it. It's cute. This is not menacing like when Into the Sandman would come on and you knew your game was over. You know what I mean? So let's get that out of the way. Okay? I'm just end it with that. Diaz, cool, cute, love it, nice, but never, don't in your dare in a breath try to mention that Diaz intro with the Enter the Sandman ever. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Sports is My Love Language podcast. I got my boy Javito El Colombiano. And on behalf of the rest of my crew, I want to say thank you for joining us in our living room. Thank you for coming to our version of a barbershop where we're going to chop it up. We're going to have the conversations that maybe mainstream media won't have. I will ask you to join. I ask you to follow. I ask you to share. Always comment and participate. We really appreciate you. Also, check us out, man. If you didn't get a lot of the podcasts here, listen to us on Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, etc. Wherever you get your podcast needs met, you can take us with you and listen in. Let us know. Let us know what your thoughts are. They say that the two most important days of your life are the day that you're born and the day you discover why. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of my people with the Sports is My Love Language podcast, I want to say thank you for helping us walk in our why. Have a good night, everybody.
Peace.